the sugars are just like oil, motor oil,
Right.
and it's thick. But when you heat it up,
Viscous and
it gets less viscous. It becomes
viscous and
more available, and it's able to leave the grains faster and end up in your kettle. But the cooler it is, the thicker it is, and the harder it is to move out of the grain bed. So 180, 190 on a really cold day, I'll be at 200. 200, and I'll still be 170 here. So that is something that you have to take note of. And so there's these rules that everyone says. Everyone says mash for an hour. Everyone says don't let your sparge water be above 170. Well, this is false. This is false. You mash as long as you need to mash to achieve the objective of your beer, and your sparge water is as hot as it needs to be, because if it's fucking 45 degrees, we can see our breath out here. It's like Game of Thrones, right? We're at the wall. You know what I mean? We're at the fucking wall. This better be 200 plus degrees, because there's no way you're gonna get that heat in here without it.
Yeah, your grain bed. Yeah.
So that is something that's critical. So it's something I always hear, these rules of thumb, and I always boil for 60 minutes. Well, no, like I said, that Weizenbach, I boil for 2.5 hours. All right, if I was going to make a barley wine, I'd boil for 3 or 4 hours. Right. So, and I'm using Pilsen malt. So you know why I have to boil? I'm boiling this 90 minutes.
Want that diacetyl in there? No,
well, yes, correct. It's called SMM, and it's the precursor for. There's 2 compounds, but it's for. What the hell is the name of it? Not diacetyl. Diacetyl's not the problem. What is it? It tastes like cooked corn. DMS. Thank you. DMS. So Pilsen. Jack, look at Jack.
DMT, but then I was like, no, that's a drug.
So Pilsen has a lot of the precursor SMM.
Right.
And so the SMM, unless you boil it off, you're going to end up with DMS, and so you're going to have that cooked corn in your beer. So if you boil it, so that was something Rick McCracken posted just the other day. It's like, man, my beer doesn't taste right. It tastes sulfury. It tastes like cabbagey or something. Like something's going on. And I said, did you use a lot of Pilsen malt? He's like, damn right. I said, did you boil it for 90 minutes? No, 60 minutes. I said, well, what you did is you
can get that from boiling with like a lid on too, right? Or,
Correct. Boiling with the lid on, because what it does is it's volatile. It goes up and it condensates on the lid and it falls right back in. Right. So DMS. So that's the curse of DMS. Now diacetyl is a product of the yeast, and most yeast, all yeast produce it. But yeast also take it back in and enzymatically degrade it in the cell. So that's what you hear when people do lagers. It's called the diacetyl rest, or diacetyl. There's 3. Nobody ever pronounces it the same.
This OC Festive, one of the beers I got from the judging is